Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with the Missouri Firearms Coalition, joined today with special guest, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. AG Bailey, we have heard for the last year and a half now that the crime wave in St. Louis, in Kansas City, and frankly, every blue city in America could be stopped by more gun control. And what we've heard here in Missouri in particular is that there's a gap in the code that the authorities lack the tools they need to deal with youthful offenders. I asked you recently, point blank, is there nothing? Is there nothing in the law here in Missouri that deals with young criminals walking around doing criminal actions in the code? And you said, no, we've got multiple codes that deal with that. Tell our members what you're talking about.
Yeah, don't believe the mainstream media and the anti-gunners lies when they tell you they need more laws. They're not enforcing the laws on the books. And it really boils down to the juvenile code and the juvenile officers. We have a juvenile code in the state of Missouri today that says it's a delinquent act for any juvenile under the age of 18 to be beyond their parents' control or to be associating with individuals that are injurious to the health of the juvenile or the community. So there are sufficient laws on the books now for these juvenile officers to take jurisdiction over juvenile criminals. But we see this time and time again, Aaron, and I know you've talked about this. Certainly you and I have talked about it. The left refuses to enforce the laws on the books, demands more authoritarian, more draconian laws, and then doesn't enforce those either. And so this is kind of a self-perpetuating problem, and we can't let this happen in the state of Missouri.
So I'm going to ask you to kind of break that down a little bit more for our members. I heard two different code sections here. One deals with beyond parental control, I believe you said. So in a nutshell, does that mean then if a 17-year-old is walking around downtown STL at 2 o'clock in the morning, his parents want him home, he will not go home, that the court system has the authority to have that person detained or arrested by the juvenile processes to get him or her off the streets? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, absolutely. The juvenile officers now have the authority to open up a juvenile case against that juvenile and also have the authority to issue orders to the parents to try to help the parents gain control over the juvenile. If they can't, then the juvenile needs to go to the Division of Youth Services. Think about this for a minute, Aaron. What has changed in the state of Missouri? What has changed? Why is this all of a sudden a problem? Well, it's all of a sudden a problem because the juvenile officers are sending less youth to the Division of Youth Services. The state of Missouri has had to shutter DYS facilities in the past years because the courts aren't sending kids to DYS. So the laws exist on the books. They worked for generations, and all of a sudden the JOs have stopped using them. And now the juveniles are suddenly becoming a problem. So we have sufficient tools on the books. We need the juvenile officers to step up and the courts to do their jobs and send the kids to DYS if they're beyond parental control.
So for our members, we've thought for years, and we're never gonna stop thinking this way, that at the end of the day, gun control, of course, is a failure. It will not stop violent crime. For our members, their thought is very simple. The problem in St. Louis, Kansas City, and every other blue city in America right now, nothing to do with guns. It's about a culture that has taught kids that there basically is no right and wrong, that we have broken homes, we have failing schools, we have prosecutors who oftentimes won't prosecute. And this problem is far deeper, and it's not going to be stopped by passing more gun control. Is that your assessment as well?
If they're not enforcing the laws that are on the books today, what good are more laws going to do? Yeah. And we need to go after criminals, not law-abiding citizens. I'm so sick and tired of politicians who think it's expedient to say, oh, well, if we just had more gun control, if we just kind of took this away or took that away, why do you need this or why do you need that? Why are we asking that kind of question when it comes to a constitutional right given to us by God, not man? Nobody asked, well, what if we just curtail a portion of our Fourth Amendment right or our First Amendment right to free speech or free exercise of religion? We don't talk in those terms. So why would we talk like that about the Second Amendment? We have ample tools on the books now. We just need to enforce the laws that are on the books and get the juveniles back under control. They were under control for generations. The tools exist. We just need to use them.
Well, guys, you've heard it from the mouth of the Attorney General. Thank you for your time again, Mr. AG. Guys, don't fall for this. There's a huge push on right now here in Jeff City from the gun grabbers who are trying to use our own natural recoil, our own natural horror to the violent crime wave we see in these cities. Gun owners did not cause it. Our freedoms sure as heck didn't cause it. And the laws we have right now are able to address this issue. Make your voice heard. Hit the link below. Talk to your lawmaker. Tell them to vote no on any bill that would attack our gun rights under the guise of this youthful offenders, when we now know we have multiple codes on the books. Thank you again for your time, Andrew.
Thanks for having me.